today. Today, live like you wanna. Let yesterday burn and go within a fire. In a fire, in a fire. Fight like a warrior. Today.
Hey Wellness Warriors, Diane Kazer here, and I have a very important message to deliver to you guys today, particularly for women and for the men that love their woman and are wondering what they could do to help the relationship, because women these days, it just feels like we're so overwhelmed and crazy, right? Okay, so I'm going to go into a lot of hormonal talk today, so just so you know, this might be a little TMI for some people. So if you get offended by talking about yeast and crazy woman-like things and birth control and IUDs and stuff like that, sign off now. But I do highly recommend that you encourage and share this with your female friends. Or if you're a female and this stuff bothers you, I highly encourage you to get outside your box and to start listening to your body, because this is your body and it's trying to talk to you. And this is what I'm hoping to empower to women all across the world. So I'm here to tell you my story today. And this is what that is. We're all on birth control, pretty much, all of us. Like, from the time I was 17 years old, I have been on birth control of some kind. I'm 34 years old now. It may not look like it because I take really good care of myself. And I'm not bragging, but that's just, I work so hard and I'm the healthiest person I know, which is why this message is that much more important, because people make the assumption that I was A, born this way. I wasn't always. I used to eat out of a box like macaroni and cheese and stuff all day long. And B, that just because I'm eating healthy means that I'm okay and 100% fine on the inside, which is completely the farthest thing from the truth. And this is my story, and I think this needs to be shared all across the world. So I'm 34 years old now. About half of my lifetime ago, when I was 17, I had some cystic acne. I don't know if you can see some of the scarring I still have left. I have used some laser to try to reduce some of that. And I used to have the worst cramps in the world, like so debilitating that I couldn't even get out of bed and go to school. So the logical thing to do was take me to the doctor, because that's what everybody tells you to do, go to the doctor. What did the doctor do? The doctor said, oh, we'll just take these birth control pills and it'll help reduce some of these symptoms. So I didn't know better. I just started taking birth control pills. I wasn't even really using it for birth control at the time. I just used it for my acne and for my cramps, because I needed to function in my life, right? But that's really your body trying to talk to you. That was my body trying to tell me, your estrogen, Diane, your estrogen is off, your testosterone is off, your progesterone is off, your melatonin is off. All these sorts of things, your neurotransmitters are off, minerals. There's so many things that we need to explore first inside of our bodies before deciding to take a pill to suppress whatever symptom that our body's trying to tell us to listen to. So when I was 17, I was on the pill for about 5 years. I was really tired at that point. I was playing semi-pro soccer. I was playing college soccer. I was really tired of being tired. And I was gaining weight, and I didn't know why. I was puffy. I was moody. So I quit taking it. And then I got into a relationship like when I was 23. I decided to get back on a birth control. I took a shot, the Depo Provera shot. For 7 years, I took that fine. But guess what? I didn't have a period. And not having a period is not good for females, because that is the way that we cleanse our body. That is our natural circadian rhythm of detoxifying and starting anew. So I didn't have a period for 7 years. And I thought, oh, that's so cool. Every guy's gonna like me because I don't have the standard mood swings and the bleeding. I didn't have to buy tampons. And little did I know the cascade of like complete hormonal imbalances that would cause in my body for the rest of my life. So 2.5 years ago, I decided I needed to do something different. And I got off of the shot, and that whole time I was supposed to be taking calcium because it does leach minerals from your body. I wasn't always doing that religiously, so I had a couple broken bones that whole time. Odd. And I did the Copper IUD, which I have right here. Here is the Copper IUD. So what I did is I took the Copper IUD. I didn't take it. I insert it in you, which is like the most painful experience I've ever had. And I've never had kids, but I have heard from my female friends and clients that it's worse than having a child. So I had this thing inserted in me. I had first tried the Mirena, but I had a pretty bad experience. I had the Copper IUD after 3 months of experience. It seemed like the way to go because there was no hormones. It seemed natural. I was still going to get a period. And they told me that, you know, if you don't have bad periods, then you'd be okay with having the Copper IUD. Many women choose Mirena because they hear, oh, if you have bad periods, take the Mirena. The Mirena has a ton of hormones in it, so I highly discourage that at all costs. Here's my story, because now after 17 years of birth control, I've decided to go no birth control. I'm so tired at the expense of not getting pregnant, taking these things that destroy my body and my brain and my life and my heart and my relationships. So here's what happened. A week ago, I had this thing taken out, the Copper IUD. But I'm going to back up. So when I had my IUD put in, I thought I was doing something responsible because this one doesn't have any hormones, but little did I know the cascade of corruption that it would seep into my body. I now have copper toxicity and lead and mercury and aluminum and a yeast infection. I didn't know that I had a yeast infection from any signs, but I do know now that we can have yeast infections on the inside without knowing it, just from our body trying to protect itself, and I'll get into that later. But I did a hair tissue mineral analysis to determine that I had toxicity of these heavy metals. Heavy metals aren't funny. They're not a symptom or a disease to be taken lightly. It's not a disease, but it's just rather an accumulation in the body. It's not something to be taken lightly. So really what's happened is the copper has destroyed me from the inside out because I had this IUD. So once I found this out, I thought, well, what do I have to do? Because this doesn't sound very good. If you're on any kind of birth control, ladies, like an IUD or pills, Depo shot, it is likely a huge part of the reason why you suffer from a lot of the same things that I did for the last 2.5 years with this, more so than I did with any other birth control method that I had tried in the past. Everybody reacts differently to everything, but I was struggling to lose weight. I had crazy food cravings. I was depressed, and the next minute I was anxious, and the next minute I was like borderline bipolar. I was like, how am I going crazy? These symptoms have really come about the last 6 months, so it was kind of like a slow uptake of symptoms, but I've been noticing I can't lose weight as much as I did in the past. I didn't lose any hair, but a lot of my clients do. I had bad acne, skin problems. A lot of people report not being able to have the energy to get through the day, let alone a workout. That was me. Crashing around 3 p.m. every day, caffeine dependent, irrational food cravings. It's just all these things that I kept noticing about myself that weren't like me. I'm like, who is this person that I'm living in this body? I'm like, I don't even know myself anymore. So I can't scream this from the rooftops loud enough the damage these birth control methods are doing to your body. I understand that we are trying not to get pregnant, but at the expense of our lives and our daily quality of life, and then at the expense of our relationships. So it's like this double-edged sword. Not get pregnant, but our relationships suck, and we lose our sex drive. So here's what this video is all about. I'm making it to my goal to reach out to at least 1,000 ladies this year about how something as simple as birth control can be destroying your health, deferring your goals, and I want you to look into other alternative forms of birth control, and I can help you with this. It's sad that some 25% of women are on birth control for reasons other than for contraception, and you know what? It's just what we're being fed as something that will ease the pain or minimize our periods, cramps, mood swings, pimples, hair loss, and the like. But it doesn't come without consequences, like severe consequences. One of them being extreme weight gain, irrational emotions that I have mentioned before. And like I said, our sex drive, where does it go? Testosterone is responsible for building muscle, which I haven't been able to build the last couple of years, fueling the motivation for our life, which I felt like kind of depressed, like almost borderline suicidal. It's responsible for our sex drive, our energy levels. It's responsible for helping us to sleep. Testosterone is hugely important, and we discard that for being a female. We think it's only a man thing, but men have estrogen too. Women have testosterone. It doesn't just bounce back either after you've gotten off your birth control. That's a huge misconception I want you to understand. Many people just get off birth control and they think it's just their body's just going to return back to homeostasis. Our bodies are so overwhelmed with chemicals and crap, and we also put junk food on our skin for like lotion and stuff, and to try to protect vitamin D, which is hugely important hormone. Separate video, but all of these things are contributing to why our bodies just can't bounce back on their own anymore. So that's why I've created a protocol to help work with you guys, you ladies, to ease back into getting your life back. And I'm not saying it's smart to shoot yourself up with testosterone like Arnold did or something, but there's a way to balance this out naturally with herbs and adaptogens and potent elixirs and food. Food is medicine, right? Should be. For instance, right now I'm on a yeast detox because heavy metals attract yeast in the body, like I said, to protect us from them lodging into our tissues. So in this case, yeast isn't the enemy, but is designed to protect us from invaders like copper. But when it's taken over inside of the body, then it becomes a problem. Just like cholesterol, just like sugar. These things are not bad. They're only bad when they're causing a problem because they exist in excess or in deficiency. It took me 2.5 years of having this thing in me before I became just fed up. I didn't have any of the typical signs of yeast infection, which is normal, but we women make the common mistake of assuming that we only have yeast overgrowth when we see what comes out of us or we feel itching sensations. This is my frog and boiling water theory. I didn't just jump into boiling water like the Mirena felt to me. Like when I had that thing put into me, I was crampy and like completely in pain for 2 weeks. I was training for a bodybuilding competition and I had gained 2.5% body fat in just 2 weeks. That's crazy. So the Copper IUD I took an alternative, but it was also my slow boil type deal where rather than boiling to death, I decided to do something about it, and so can you. Because I was the frog at the end where I was like, oh my gosh, this water has gotten hot. But I finally had the intelligence to jump out of the pot as opposed to just continuing to think this is just the way it is when I get older. It's totally not true. But this is also not just the Copper IUD, ladies. It's about every method of birth control. Because like I said, for the first time in about 15 years, even though I've been trying 4 different types of birth control, I actually feel like me again. Like the person who could conquer the world and maintain her weight and be free of cellulite with skin as clear as my mind and communication centers in my body that tell me when I'm full and when I'm hungry and void of junk food cravings. And literally, I'm not kidding, 1 week, those things are completely gone, like completely. And sadly, until I had this thing removed and began my heavy metal detox and my diet tweaks and my candida detox, I had forgotten what it felt like to live with vitality, which, you know, I normally am full of joy and drive and balance. It feels so good to be back. And I'll say one last thing. It wasn't just my heavy metals that I checked. I also ran the lab tests that I offer on myself and in my practice for my clients to check my hormone levels and liver function. And I was in shock what I saw. So my thyroid was low functioning due to the mineral imbalances from the copper toxicity, which set my immune system on fire and inspired stage 2 adrenal fatigue. There's only 3 stages. The 4th stage is, you can't really reverse that, but stage 2 is pretty severe, which totally explains why I couldn't work out as long or as hard or with the same intensity as I used to in the past, nor could I build the same amount of muscle. And it felt like I was even reversing results when I worked out, like it made things worse. So I hear that from my clients all the time. When I work out, I get fatter. Like, what's up with that? And these aren't tests that you could just get from your doctor, by the way, because they have no idea. They would have no idea what you're talking about when I said adrenal fatigue. Their tests are completely different, and most allopathic tests just say when you're sick, like you have this disease, and then you get pigeonholed into this category. This is not about that. This is about looking at a pattern that might get you to this point, that might get you to complete non-ability to recover from these diseases. So this is a whole nother breed of analysis, which I'm overjoyed to be able to help women explore. And I can do it with men too, but obviously this birth control, this video is about women. Because aging doesn't have to be an ugly thing, you guys. It doesn't have to be ugly. And damn it, I'm sick of hearing my clients, their doctors say, diet doesn't matter, or, oh, you're just getting older, or this is just likely in your head, you know, reduce your stress, take this antidepressant, and you're going to be fine. My favorite one is exercise more and eat healthier. That's like the generic recommendation the doctors are giving now, which sounds logical, but it can actually send someone who has adrenal fatigue into an even greater downward spiral and make things worse and cause even a more imbalance in your hormones and your thyroid and other endocrine functions. And I took all of this so much to heart that I've been having some fun with my personal care products. I no longer wear GMO tampons that inspire cervical cancer. I use the Diva Cup, which is what this little guy is. I'll do a separate video on that to help you understand how to do that and my experience with what I did wrong. But it's so easy. There's no mess anymore in my underwear, and I don't have to worry about like strings hanging out. It's cool. It's awesome. It's BPA free. I also make my own deodorant. I don't know if you guys can see that. I'm making my own deodorant, which in this deodorant is coconut oil and a whole host of other amazing things that really help me to sweat and smell good. It's not to reduce sweat. That's what aluminum does. I have aluminum toxicity, so you don't want to buy the standard like at the store deodorants because it's just going to give you aluminum toxicity. You know where this is close to, ladies? That's close to your breasts. Breast cancer. Can you guys see that tie-in? Aluminum, heavy metals, breast cancer, parabens. They find parabens in breast cancer tissues. Parabens come from the personal care products that we're using. These are things that we need to know about. We need to open our mind, open our eyes, so we can be vital and live longer. And we have a lot of children we have to raise, right? Or maybe just like me, we have a great life to fill, and we have great clients that we want to help. I have to get, that'll be a whole separate video, but I'm also making things like toothpaste out of bentonite clay, which is right here. So these coconut oil things I'm using, they pretty much make me want to lick my armpits. Just kidding. But I'll do a separate video for that. But I want to inspire you for now to think about other forms of birth control. Or if you're using it for non-contraceptive methods, just get off it and let's heal you naturally once and for all, so you don't have to endure the side effects that could last your entire life that you might not be able to bounce back from. You have only one liver. It's hard to get a liver transplant, so let's really be careful with these things. When I did my testing, my liver came back and I had tons of estrogen just clogged up in the liver. No wonder why I had cellulite, and no wonder why it's gone now, like literally in 2 weeks. You guys, life is so amazing without being tied to these exogenous artificial hormones that are literally driving us insane and making us fat. Don't worry though. I have other recommendations for birth control methods so you won't turn pregnant in the midst of all this change, because I know you're thinking, well, what do I do so I don't get pregnant? So my first 3 days of having this thing out, this Copper IUD, I lost 6 pounds and 1% body fat, 1.5% body fat. Crazy. 6 pounds, 1.5% in 3 days. Like, obviously I was holding on to a lot of inflammation and yeast from this thing. I literally got my life back, and I'm training for 2 upcoming figure competitions where I'm confident I'll be able to get down to like 12% body fat like I was in this picture when I won my show. I'm sure you guys can see that. I had more muscle, less body fat, and I was happy. So this is my goal in the next 3 months. You can follow my journey along on Facebook and my website and these YouTube videos, because I'll be doing one at least weekly to help inspire you to become your own best doctor and to listen to your body. Please message me ASAP if you want to speak with me one-on-one to discuss this further by visiting my website, www.dianekazer.com, and I'll put the link on the below. Also, subscribe to my weekly tips, and you'll have full access to a library of doctor resources that are not found anywhere on the internet. It's free. It's also free, and could be the key that unlocks your door to why you're feeling the way that you do, and literally change your life so you get your life back too. Men and women, please share this with other women you care about. I'd be happy to do conference calls or set up groups to discuss this with couples or friends, ladies support groups, and other settings. I do this at yoga studios all across America. I've done it across the world when I did my world travels last year. So I want to get this word out fast so that women know they have alternatives. I would be happy to have a one-on-one complimentary consultation with you to discuss what we can do for you and to discuss your goals and your symptoms so that we can finally get you back to being you. Please also check out my podcast, which is the Wellness Warrior Radio Show. Wellness Warrior Radio Show for juicy truths on how to heal yourself naturally and to evolve into your own best doctor. Ladies, please take this seriously. This is not to be taken lightly, and I wish I knew this information when I was 17 years old so I could have chosen a better path, but that's what I'm here to hopefully inspire you to do. Thank you guys so much for watching, and look out for me in my future videos. Please comment below and email me with any questions. Namaste.